Day two, first full padded practice, I should say. It's not like we do a lot more when we go full pads. Well, yeah, once you get shoulder pads on, it's kind of the same practice for us. It's not like we ever block down low or tackle down low in practice, at least. So good day. Again, no injuries. Players are, pumped up about, getting practices in. This is our fourth straight day of practice this week. So, of course, second day of padded practices. So I'll take your question.
All right, Nico, you can lead off, and then we'll follow with Bob.
Hey, Lovie, just wondering what your reaction was like to the news that there's going to be some cardboard cutouts and, fans can hopefully get creative and get some kind of an atmosphere going at Memorial Stadium this fall.
Well, this is Nico, right?
Yes.
It's first I've heard of it right now. So, we're kind of in our own little bubble right here. So we're just pumped up about having the chance to play, in our home stadium. For a long period of time, didn't think we were going to do that. So any kind of way you can make it feel like it normally does is a good thing. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to see which cardboard pictures end up in the stadium.
Kind of building off that, I mean, there's going to be limited fans with some family in attendance, but have you guys kind of talked about maintaining energy and kind of just what it's going to take on the sidelines to kind of keep everybody really engaged for those four quarters, and maybe some of those guys that, aren't playing kind of being those energy guys this year?
Yeah, Nico, it's great when you play in front of a lot of fans, but that can't be your motivation for playing hard, for playing with energy. Just having a chance to compete against somebody else, that's what keeps you going. So it's not like we're going to have – that's great to manufacture it for maybe a TV audience or something like that, but that's not going to be an issue with us. We're excited about playing, and you should see that in our play, period.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Nico. Bob, you're up, and Jim Cotter on deck.
Coach, you're going into year 3 with Rod Smith as your offensive coordinator. Just kind of broad view, how's that gone in your mind?
Gone well. Year 1 was really good. Year 2, it always helps too, Bob, when you keep the same systems in place for the players. Rod has done an excellent job since he's been here. I'm really pumped up about, same offensive coordinator, same quarterback 2 years in a row. We haven't been in that situation for a while. So really pumped up. We've talked a lot about our offensive line. It starts with that. Having a solid offensive line allows you to do a lot of different things. So can't wait to see, what we look like on the offensive side, just like the defense and special teams too.
As a defensive guy, what part of his offense is the part that you really would be worried about as a defensive coordinator? What would be the thing that he does really well that, you kind of like, well, I'm glad I don't have to say that every day in a game?
Well, Bob, that would, kind of be,
give me some secrets.
No, I'm just saying it's pretty hard to say one thing. I like, everything. I like what we do on first, second down. I like when we have to pass the ball. I like what we do. You just start off with the offensive system. I wanted a offensive attack with the quarterback that can throw the ball, of course, but they had the capability of running it. So just like everything about what we do, it would be belittling the offense a little bit to just talk about one thing that we do. I think we're going to be able to do it all well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Jeremy, we're going to skip Jim. Jeremy Werner, and then Robert and Joey in the hole.
Hey, Lovie, hope you're well. Takeaways, I know, have always been a focus for you, but preaching it is different than actually doing it. Why do you think last year was here you guys really took off with the takeaways?
Well, I think it's just like with our program in general. It takes a while to establish exactly who you are, what's in your DNA. We believe in that. It's rubbed off on you too. Jeremy, you didn't talk about turnovers. You talked about takeaways is how you presented the question. Our guys were presented the same way. I just think that term determines the winner or the person that loses more than any other stat. So you have to put a big emphasis on it. And I think it helps to see what it can do in a game. Last year, guys got a chance to see what taking the ball away can really do for your ball club. And it's just not defensively taking the ball away. It's, yeah, you know, we practice it. We just don't lip service it. We practice it. That helps the offense with ball security also. So as I said, that's in our DNA. In order for us to win, that has to be in place for us.
And I'm sure improving talent helps you do that. What kind of prospects or athletes do you really look for, especially in that back seven, to be successful at that?
We're looking for really in all 11. We defensively, if you talk with it, it's about, yeah, athletes. We don't talk a lot about how big guys are. When we talk about how much you weigh, it's normally you got to lose weight. You know, we have a DEXA machine where we want to know exactly what your body fat is. So we want to be an athletic, fast football team. And that's a part of the profile on when we bring players in. The first thing I ask, how fast are they? Is this an athlete? And after you've been in a program for a while, you'll see more of what we would like to be in all 11 defensive players this year.
Thank you, Lovie.
You're welcome.
Okay, Robert, Joey's on deck.
Coach, my question is about the eligibility rule and this more or less being a freebie season for everyone. Is your approach to your freshman class change? Would you, maybe put in a package for a James Frenchie or a deuce span goal line play where normally you're going to be redshirting a kid, but since everybody can play and not lose a season, do you look at your freshmen differently this year?
No, I mean, you just look last year, they can play 4 games. So if there's a specialized situation like that, we feel like somebody could help us, we would have that in. But no, and as a general rule, first, what do we need to do to win games? Those situations we talked about, if we think that's the best way for us to be successful in that situation and one of those freshmen will help us do that, we'll do that. And besides, as you mentioned, a free year, that just everything's on the table each week. Don't have to worry too much about tomorrow. And we like being in that situation.
And so like a battle for, you've mentioned that the right guard spot is open. How deep will you go? I mean, you've mentioned 2 guys there, but do you have others that have a shot at that spot? Yeah,
there's others that do, but 2 days in pads, going kind of based on everything that I know about who we have in our program, I would say that it's about those 2 guys first as to who will actually start. After 2 days, I don't think that has changed much. And we like those 2 prospects too. Both of them are good football players. So whoever ends up being the starter should feel right in. Richie Petterbaum did a good job for us last year, but we're expecting even better play at that position this year, whoever it is.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome.
All right, Joey, you're up. Carson's on deck.
Well, I hope you're doing okay. What have you seen from a Vertus Brown or a Jordan Slaughter? You've mentioned those guys as potential guys who could fill into that open spot. How have you seen them kind of ready themselves for this opportunity? They've been in the system for a little bit now.
Yeah, I mean, they've been here for a while, so it's hard to just say one thing. I mean, we talked about some of the traits we're looking for in offensive and just athletes in general. It's a little different with linemen, but both men are powerful men. They can, they lift quite a bit of iron in the weight room. Both guys are pretty good athletes. Illinois products of Illinois football. And then from there, they pass block, all the things you're looking for in offensive linemen. I think both guys can do. They just haven't done it on a consistent basis. And that's what we're looking for. Again, 2 days in, I've noticed both of the guys. I'm spending a little bit more time, with pass rush and things like that. I'm talking watching it. Love what Coach McClain is doing with the group.
And then a couple times over the last few days, you've mentioned Johnny Newton. Can you specifically, what's he doing that's, you kind of getting that praise from you guys? I mean, what can you share with us that we're not able to see?
a lot of the same things we talked about on what we're looking for. You know, Johnny Newton played running back in high school. So you see what type of athlete he is. So now, once you put a guy with running back athletic ability in high school that's gained a little bit of weight, you could end up with a pretty good defensive lineman. So what we've seen, quickness, athletic ability, he's a knee bender. He's a powerful guy. He's gotten his weight up, strength up. He's just a young player, though. And we've seen him 2 days in pads, but 2 days in, we like the possibility of him. Eventually, he's going to be a real good football player for us. He'll tell us exactly when that begins.
Thanks, Lovie.
Well,
Okay, Carson, you're up. Matt Stevens on deck. Alec in the hole.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? I was just wondering, like last year, Brandon Peters had games where he was really good at rushing the football. Is there any designs for him to get more action with his legs this year?
well, the design is for him to move the offense, whether that be passing. He threw some real good passes too. I just think the blend of being a passer, being a runner when he needs to be. I mean, that's what we're looking for in our quarterback. You say read option, so you just assuming it's just a guy that doesn't know how to pass. But he can do both. He can make all of the throws you're looking for in a situation where we have to pass. And he is definitely good enough to be dangerous running the football. That's why the offensive line needs to protect him, and we can do some things.
You guys have two pretty good tight ends with Barker and Ford. Like, how has Ford been this offseason? Is he ready for this year?
He's been good. He's been waiting a long time for this opportunity. You guys hadn't seen us play, but, I would definitely throw Daniel Bebe in there also. The Bebes have really been good to our program, and I think we're going to get some of the same things from Daniel too. DJ Barker has really been outstanding since he's been here. Luke Ford being, of course, from the state, people know quite a bit about him, and I think everything that you think he is who he'll end up being for us this year. That's why there's a lot of excitement.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Matt Stevens, then Alec.
Morning, Lovie. I wanted to ask you about your two new position coaches, Jimmy Lindsay and Al Davis. They didn't have a spring to get themselves, that time on the field with those guys, and I was wondering how that has worked out for you. I know you've only been pads a couple of days, but how have you seen that progress with your two new guys on the field on your staff?
Well, you're right. We didn't get a chance to go through spring practice, but we have clinicked each other. I'll just say a lot. So before we actually took the field together, I know about their knowledge. I kind of knew how they would be as a coach, and that's what I've seen. Two padded practices. Both the technicians know the game, their detail, they relate well to their players. So 2 days in, love what I've seen from both of them.
Specifically, the splitting up of those two groups, the D tackles and the D ends, how has that worked out? I think that's the first time you've done that here. I don't know if it's the first time you've ever done it. So is that something you've been satisfied with?
Very much so also. And going back to the reasons why, we lost a lot of defensive linemen, and we wanted, when you can, you have one coach for two guys instead of, one coach for four, just feel like you can get more detailed teaching. And that's what I've seen. So the split, those guys work together well, but so it's working out right now how I kind of pictured it would.
And quickly, I wanted to ask you, because again, he didn't get a spring either, and I imagine that would have been pretty critical, but your impressions of Isaiah when he's been out there and been able to run the offense a little bit this fall.
Young player in the system, and just keep in mind, guys, it's 2 days in. Isaiah is going to be a good football player for us too, but quarterback, we have a few quarterbacks here, and as a general rule, your one quarterback wants to get as many reps as he possibly can, so it's limited for the rest of the guys. But Isaiah's throwing the ball better. What he can do as a runner. So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and then we'll wrap up with Coach today with Alec. You're up.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this again. I guess the first question I kind of have is your wide receiver room has a couple really big targets and Joshie Matterbebe, Brian Hightower, and the tight end has similar kind of stuff with Daniel, but you also have some speedy guys. From a defensive perspective, what have you seen the DBs kind of try and do in practice these first 2 days? And you expect teams to kind of do similar things to slow them down on a weekly basis?
To slow our receivers down? Well, I think most teams we play are going to, you have a defensive system on who you are, and that's what you're going to do no matter who you play. Big receivers, fast receivers, you should have that type of flexibility. That's the case with us. We play all coverages. We play 2, 3 quarters, combinations of it, man coverage. So I think it's really good for our wide receivers, quarterbacks to go against our defense, since you're going to get a wide variety of things. And that's what's going to happen throughout the year. So I don't think our practice are any different. It's great competition. When you have elite guys at both position groups, the competition is really good. And that's what we've seen, really good competition so far.
Have you been around or maybe seen a group of pass catchers that you have this season that is diverse as much as you have in terms of size and speed and route running across the board?
You know a little bit about my history, right? I've kind of coached a few places, had a few different guys. So, this is a group we have. We had a lot of good groups in the past too. And it's still early. Normally I kind of talk about groups and how good they are kind of after it's happened. Right now, of course, we know what Bebe has done. We talked about the 3 tight ends that could play. Wide receiver, you mentioned Brian Hightower. I mentioned Kyron Compton. You just go down the list. But a guy that has improved as much as anyone is Delvon Campbell also. Throw him, Casey Washington, a lot of those guys you know about. But so right now, guys are taking turns on stepping up to the plate. We'll have some big decisions and some good decisions to make before it's all said and done.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll talk again on Monday. You get tomorrow off.
I guess you can say that, Ken.
From a media standpoint. Sorry. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Take care.